Hi everybody, I'm John White with Hardin County Educational and Community Television. Welcome to another episode of Issues and Insights. And today, it's that time of year, we want to talk about preparing for winter weather and all the different difficulties that entails. So we invited a couple of guests to come in with us today to talk about some various issues and how to prepare for them. So to my immediate left is Joey Scott,
Yes, sir.
and you're the Director of Hardin County Emergency Management.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then to his left is Mark Peterson, who is Director of Hardin County EMS. That's correct?
Yes.
All right. Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks
Thank you for having us.
So, like I said, it's that time of year, and there's just, with winter weather comes all these various issues that everybody has to deal with. So, who wants to go first? Just kind of like mention some of the issues that might pop up and then how to prepare for them, or if you happen to get caught in something, how to get out of it, that
Sure,
sort of thing.
Sure. The weather changes so often here in Kentucky. It can be sunny one day, snowing the next day. So you really don't know. So it's really key and very important that you follow weather media outlets you have. And we have a lot of them. We have, us in the emergency management world, we use so many different outlets. We use NOAA Weather Service. We have Weather Channel. We use that as well. And some of your local forecasters, we partner up with them and use them as well on Facebook. So there's so many different outlets we can have. But in our business, being key on the weather is very important, because not only are we taking care of the people of Hardin County, but we have to take care of our first responders as well and get them the right information out to them as well.
Okay. And let's just say it's a typical winter. What are some of the kind of issues that just randomly pop up, usually during a winter time?
Well, obviously your ice storms. That's kind of what we're known for here. I mean, with if we have snow, it's usually little to none, or just one big one one time. So, but ice seems to be our biggest problem we've had in the past. Especially dating back to the ice storm. It was just power outages and being winter prepared at home, in your car, at your workplace. Having a plan put together, that's the main thing. And there's so many different, like I said again, the media outlets on NOAA Weather Service, you can get on there and they've got great tips for you to go by. And it's just we have, when you're in your car, you never know when a winter storm's going to approach.
Right.
So being prepared is the main thing.
And social media now is just, that's like the way to go, because there's so many outlets for that, not just Facebook and Twitter or whatever it's called now, and just there's so many different ways to keep in touch with what's going on.
Oh, so, yes. And again, we're weathering us too, so we like to get the forecast and stay on top of it. Like I said, our phone rings constantly, Mark and myself both. What's the weather going to do? So, and we try to keep people prepared for that too. So, but when you're in your car, making sure you have, a flashlight, making sure you have extra batteries in your car, making sure you have a set of jumper cables in your car, possibly a rope or a chain to pull you out of something. A lot of them say put kitty litter in your car too, keep a little thing to give you some traction on the snow or ice. Mm-hmm. So there's just so many different things you can do to become winter prepared, and it's very key and important.
And so, go ahead, Mark.
Hey,
we're going to turn
with
to you.
that, having a kit ready in your car is important. We were talking about social media, making sure your devices stay charged or have a means to charge them when there's no power. Prescription medications, make sure that you have enough of those to get you through a week or two. Some folks in our community rely on the power for oxygen delivery devices and other things, and so the time to plan is before the event, not during the event. And so letting your power company know that, hey, I'm on oxygen, so your priority when they start restoring power and stuff like that. And don't forget about your pets. They need food and medicine and all the things just like we do during this time of year. And if you're traveling with those animals, make sure that they have the needs they need, food and water and blankets and all that stuff. So as we've seen in the past, we can prepare and be ready, and then we're expecting one thing and another thing happens. So it's like I said, the time to be ready is before it happens.
Right, and it's great that you guys are there, available should something happen. But it's a lot of personal responsibility too.
Absolutely.
It's up to everybody to be prepared to do be prepared for whatever's
Yeah.
going to happen to them.
Yeah.
So don't wait until, something happens and then react to it. Be proactive and be prepared as best as you can for whatever might happen.
Yeah. And part of Joey's responsibility, and we help him with that too, is if we know we're going to have power outages for a long period of time, is establishing shelters for for people in the community that are sensitive and need specific care and stuff like that. And that's where the social medias and the news outlets are really good about relaying that information where shelters may be within the community. And of course, a lot of people like to call 911 and ask those questions, and let's leave the 911 number for emergencies so that we can get the fire departments and police and the EMS to the areas that need us and stuff. So, but social media can be your best friend or can be your worst enemies. But during these times, that's the place to go to get updated, correct information about what's going on in the community for sure.
Absolutely. Nowadays, with all the different avenues of information that you can get readily available to you, there's no reason why you should be caught unprepared for whatever may happen, because if there's even a chance of some severe weather coming in, the local TV stations, if nothing else, just jump all over it and make sure that you are totally aware of what the potential is for what could happen.
Yeah, and plan ahead. I mean, we know 3, 4, 5 days in advance when these systems are coming, so that's the time to get out and go to the grocery store and get the things that you need and make sure you got your medicines and all that other stuff. Try not to do that stuff while the event's happening, and leave the roadways open for the crews that need to be out there to clear the roads, and the EMS and fire crews to get out and make their responses and stuff like that as well.
Right, and I personally have seen that a lot with people who should not be out driving.
Absolutely.
They think that, well, it's not really that bad, or, my vehicle is accustomed to being in that type of driving condition, and it's not. I mean, especially when you have things like black ice that could pop up. We had black ice situation just a couple of weeks ago.
Sure.
Where we weren't really aware that it was happening until, I guess maybe it was the road department or somebody told our school superintendent about it and suggested that we call off school the next day. So just you gotta listen to the experts on these things.
Yeah. Again, we had in that day you're speaking of, we had 15 wrecks in an hour's time.
Is that right?
And that was it was a good call by the school system to go ahead and put off school that day, because that's something we do in my office as well. We coordinate with the school system and share information with them too of some of our forecasts we get. But again, being prepared and watch it. 20 years ago, a system could pop up. It shouldn't be popping. I mean, we're getting weeks to 2 weeks in advance notice that they're coming now with the technology of today. So just pay attention, be attentive about anything you see like that, and make a note if they say winter storm could possibly be happening this date. So and that's the time you start preparing, getting prepared. And and one good rule of thumb I always keep: check on your neighbors. I mean, your elderly people, just be good neighbors. Go over and see if they need something, because, if they don't have family, you're probably their lifeline. So go check on them and help them out.
That's perfectly said, because we're all a community. We need to help each other out, lend a helping hand when the need be. Not just in situations like this, but, God forbid there's a tornado or something, a flood, something like that. We're all affected by that in one way or another, and we should just all be there for each other.
Yeah, every day. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm going to throw out a scenario to you, kind of tie into what we just talked about with the black ice, but even something more severe than that. Let's say we had an ice storm, like we've had in the past, pretty extensive amount of ice that's down trees and power lines. How do you prepare for something like that?
Well,
and then how do you react to it?
Sure. For the ice storm, we I guess it was 2009. We battled that. Nobody was ready for that ice storm. I mean, because I think that 1 degree temperature made the big difference in that. They said it was going to get to 33 degrees. It never did. It stayed at 32 the duration of the storm, and switched over to snow after that next morning as well. So, and that was complete devastation across the whole state of Kentucky. And but we learned from that. You do learn from your experiences in that nature, and that was having generators was a big thing. And I think a lot of homes went and bought generators after that. But again, there was that was a lifetime storm. I hope we never have to face that again, but it's possible.
Absolutely.
It's possible with this being the Ohio Valley. So, but having that generator and making sure you have an alternative heating source by all means. I've seen. I was a paid firefighter when that happened, and we've seen some crazy stuff going on. People pulling grills into their living room to heat their homes, and that causes carbon monoxide.
Right.
And we made a lot of carbon monoxide alarms going off at that point. So, and it's very important you have a carbon monoxide detector in your home if you're going to have an alternative source of heat coming in. And like I said, that there was no real way to prepare for that. That was a catastrophic event, but I know with the county, what we'll do in a situation like that, we'll set up emergency operations center. That's at 170 North Provident Way at our office, and we'll monitor and try to get resources out to people who need them. We had a big snowstorm in 2014. I think it snowed 23 inches overnight, and our big task that day was the interstate. We had cars stuck in snow, 24 inches of snow for 18 hours. Again, a car can only run so long. A gas port runs out of fuel.
Right.
Well, there went your heat source. So, so we have to prepare as well. It's just not preparedness for the general public, but we have a preparedness plan to a county emergency operational plan that we follow as well. So,
One thing I saw with the ice storm was oxygen. A lot of folks in our community, rely on oxygen every day.
Right.
And without power, some of those devices can't run, and then they have a backup. Most people have backups to that, but then they're running out of oxygen. So we spend a lot of our time delivering oxygen to these folks and stuff like that. If you're out of power, chances are your Walgreens or your CVS or your Walmart's out of power too, and they're not going to be able to process your prescriptions and stuff like that. So staying on top of that stuff. And the other side of that too is 911, the emergency assets are coming. If you need the fire department, you need police, you need EMS, we're coming, but we're having the same challenges with navigating the roadways that you would.
Absolutely.
So we need to make sure that we get there safely, and that we can take care of you safely and get you to where you need to be safely. We put on extra assets. We put on extra ambulance crews and trucks on the road. I know the fire departments, especially the volunteer fire departments, do really good about staying manned and getting out and helping clear roadways and trees. But again, they're limited by the road conditions as well. And so just be mindful of that. When you call 911, we're coming. But it may take us a little longer than normal because we want to make sure that we get to you safely and we can get you to where you need to go safely as well. And just staying on, you know what your needs are day to day, and making sure that you have those needs. And if you don't have the means to get those, whatever it may be, medications or whatever, like Joey said, talk to your neighbors and hey, are you going out to the store? I could really use this, that, or the other while you're out. And, because there are several people in the community who are homebound that don't get out and do the things that a lot of us take for granted every day. And but just check on those fragile populations in the community, and the county will do its best to be supportive of all those things, like through shelters and different things as need be. But like I said, you just be ready for it and stay up on what's going on, and if you have questions, reach out to Joey or us or the county government at any point and say, hey, what's the plan for this? I live in this part of the county. What are you guys going to do if we lose power down here? We have a plan for all that stuff. So,
what's the best way to contact either one of you?
Yeah, you can reach us at on our website, HCEC-TV.org. You can also reach us at emergency management. You can reach us at 270-769-3014 is the EMS station number, which there's an option there that brings in emergency management as well. So feel free to call that number at any time, and we can. Somebody will always be in our office. So if it's during business hours. So but, again, we don't have a set schedule. If we're kind of 24-hour employees, if something's going on, we're going to be there. We have so many, again, on social media, on some of our public notification system, the RAVE system. Again, you can find that on our website as well. Sign up for that RAVE system, because we'll send out notifications in the event something's going on that you need to know, information you need to know. That is really important to know, that we'll send out a RAVE alert.
I don't think I've heard of that before.
Okay,
What is
Raven's
that?
Alert, it's a public notification system that rings into your phone. It can be a landline, it can be your cell phone. It can send you a text message, but if there's a storm warning goes out, tornado, whatever kind of warning goes out, that will come directly into your phone from Hardin County government. So, and it's real time with the National Weather Service.
And it's free to sign up.
Yes.
Okay,
Costs
so
nothing.
is it like an app that you get on your phone?
Yes,
or
yes, it is.
Okay, that's good to know. I never
Yeah.
even heard of
Yes,
that before.
yes.
So it's
And-
just free for anybody that
That's
wants
right.
to get it? And
Yes, sir.
Yet another way to keep informed about,
Yes.
potential bad weather,
That's right.
whatever. Could be something other than bad weather that's
Yeah.
going on.
You know, even we're talking about storms and snow and ice, but don't forget, that just a couple of years ago here in Kentucky, we had a massive tornado outbreak during December.
Right.
So again, that rave is good to have for that as well. So, and it's not always going to be inclement weather. It could be just cold air conditions as well too, where it gets frigid temperatures outside, and you need a warming station. Last 2 years ago, we had a setup when it dropped down close to zero. We had and again, kudos to the volunteer fire departments of Hardin County. Those guys don't get paid nothing, and they're out setting up warming stations at their stations for their community members. And the definition of a warming station is what it means. It's a warming station. It's not a shelter. But if you need to come in and get warm, then they're there for that. Because most of your volunteer fire departments have backup generator power and heat sources. So, so that's something again to be watching for if in those inclement weather conditions.
So, so we just went over this scenario. So let's say now that's passed, but there's all this cleanup to do, especially from like an ice storm where there's all these downed trees and branches. You guys can assist with that as well?
Good. And again, we'll coordinate and partner up with our Public Works Department in the county, as well as the City of Elizabethtown, the City of Radcliffe, City of Vine Grove. They'll all have a different plan put together. So you'll get notification of what type of cleanup and if it's going to be a pickup or where you can take your stuff to. I think, the big thing with the ice storm in 2009 was, we had a lot of down trees.
Right.
We had to cut trees to get into people's houses because there was so much weight on those trees.
Right.
So, but yeah, there will be some type of, usually they'll bring it to a certain general spot in the county where you can take and dump it to, or in the city as well, so.
Perfect.
And talking about the City of E-Town, City of E-Town also has an app that kind of mirrors the rave system that also will send you updates. And it's not just necessarily weather updates. If there's traffic impacts at different points in the community, an accident or a train stall or something like that, that'll also alert you to say, hey, avoid this area because whatever may be going on. So again, those apps, social media, our website, Hardin County HCEC-TV.org will have updates. Joey has a Facebook page. My organization has a Facebook page. So we'll be updating those throughout an event and even after the event about cleanup and drop-off locations, or even if people want to give, we did this with the floods in North Carolina, collect food and perishables and things that those people are going to need after the fact. We'll have that kind of stuff on there as well, of where you can take some things for the fragile folks in our community that may have lost a lot during these events. And just, social media, but you got to keep those phone charged in order to be able
That's right.
to get those.
Well,
get
that
information.
brings up a good point,
Yeah.
because the phones run off batteries
Yeah.
and that need to be charged.
Yeah.
And if you haven't done that and electricity goes out, your
Yeah.
battery's going to go dead at some point.
That's right.
What are you going to do then?
Right.
right.
Well, and
Unless they have a landline,
Right,
I guess.
and there's lots of options as well. There's battery charging devices for your cell phone that are pretty inexpensive, and these shelters and warming places will have the abilities to charge your phones if you need to. Just stay informed, and we push out a lot of information to get everybody in the community ready. And the biggest obstacles that we see as first responders is, if you don't need to be out, don't be out. And you mentioned it. You think you can drive in it until you get out there and you can't. You're potentially taken away from somebody else who really would need us. If you don't have to go out, don't go out, and stay put until the roads. The state and the county and the cities will get to the roads. They'll get them clean, but give them some time to do that. And once they're clean and ready to go, by all means, go out and do what you need to do. But just wait for everybody to get out and get the roads clean and get ready for you.
Right. Once again, it's that personal responsibility that
that's
you
right.
have to
Absolutely.
take.
Yep.
Yep.
Make sure that you're ready, and A lot of businesses now let you work from home.
Absolutely. Sure.
If you're in that type of position, so
Yeah.
there's no reason for you, if you're in that type of position, to have to get out on the road. So just,
That's right.
stay home,
Yeah.
work from home if you can,
Yeah.
and just wait until it's passed.
That's right.
Yeah. They'll get them cleaned, it just takes time.
That's right.
It just takes a lot of time, so.
All right. Well, thank you guys both for
Absolutely.
joining
Yes,
us. I
sir.
really
Thank you.
appreciate
Yes,
it. We'll make sure that everybody goes to your particular, either your websites or your Facebook pages, gets more information, and also download that app, both apps,
Yeah.
and keep informed. That's the most important
Absolutely.
takeaway from this show.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Right.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for having
Thank you.
us.
And thank you for joining us for Issues and Insights.